Welcome back to Passing Time with Craig. As always, I'm your host, Craig, and today I'm passing time with Skye. Hi, Skye.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for being here today. This one, you reached out to me, and you're like, let's have a vulnerable podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it. I think for a long time, cancer was so well known and talked about, and because everybody was losing somebody for cancer. And there's been so much going on in the world. It's been tragic. But cancer is still one of the most prominent things and still affects so many people. And so you saw that I was part of the Hike for Hospice, and I lost my mom when I was 10. And you lost your mom when you were 22?
22, yeah.
22. And it doesn't matter what age you are. It's not easy.
It's not. Not only that, but cancer is also like being detected in younger people too, which is a little scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's like so many things that could like quote unquote give you cancer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
there is so much and it's crazy, but like it's still so prominent. Like there's not just that easy fix where we can like, oh, you got cancer, okay, we'll get rid of it and you won't deal with it after 2 weeks. That's not there. Like, and it's so different for different people, what they go through. The human body is so different for each person, right? And there's people who have chemo once and then their cancer is gone. And then there's others that just not have it. How old was your mom when she was diagnosed with cancer?
definitely in her 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So young, like
yeah.
This is not we're not talking like 70s and 80s. We're talking young.
Gosh, and it's like it's so long ago. I'm like trying to remember those days after after we had our conversation. I was like, well, what could I say about those days? And it's like, I don't know. It was traumatic.
Yeah.
Just to say the least.
Oh, 100%.
And not even for me, but for my mom too. And it's like it hurt to watch someone go through that. Yeah.
That's the worst part, is just witnessing almost like their spirit leaving, because they're trying and they've got good days and then they have those tough days. And I know that was like those hard times for me where it was just like I'd come home from school and mom wasn't as active or wanting to do anything because she was just exhausted. It becomes a lot.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I can remember. Yeah, it was when I was in high school. So you were in elementary school.
Yeah.
And like how old are you?
I'm 34.
You're 34. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're the same way. Well, I'm 36, so...
Okay, well, we're the same age.
Yeah, okay, so...
I feel like once we get into, like, our 30s, it's just like, oh, it's all the same age.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I thought I was 35, but no, I'm 36. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So...
You were in high school.
And I remember, like, I don't even remember how she told me. Or when she told me, but it was like I think I was in grade 12, so it would have been like 2005.
Right.
Yeah, and I remember like I couldn't even focus in school.
Well, I mean, and grade 12 specifically, you're looking at the end. The end isn't near. You're like, what is my next step? I'm going to become an adult. I'm going into the real world, maybe going to school, get a job, whatever it may be, and you get this news. It's
And it was gut-wrenching, and I'm thankful she was there for my graduation, at the very least. And she was there for a little bit after. She was a nurse, so she was very much an angel in the community, not just my community, but Regina, where I grew up. She was a community nurse, so she would like deal with all sorts of people. And I remember, meeting so many of the people, like, the lives that she's touched over the years. And that was nice and heartwarming. We had 2 funerals, actually. We had one in Regina and then one out on our reserve. But it's just the stories that I heard from all of her colleagues too. So,
And you're still like, again, grade 12, when like diagnosed, like you're still so young and not sure, and like, do you find, for me, the hardest part is being an adult, quote unquote adult, and wanting to hear my mom's opinions and thoughts on stuff. Like, the world's so crazy right now, and just wishing you have that person that, like, they're supposed to be there and help you and parent you, right?
Sometimes I think about, like, what if she was still alive today, and like how she would like text on a smartphone. And just like, I don't know, I'd probably send her like all the cat memes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean I think cat memes were becoming a thing right up to the end. So I know I definitely shared some with her in the past, but I don't know, I just, even just like, I think about things differently, I think, for sure. Like Mother's Day.
Yep.
Mother's Day is always hard because like everybody posts their mother online, and for sure I would too.
Yeah,
I would too. But it's like the one day out of the year where I get so sad.
and people as well will just like. And we're in our 30s, so you think that, you know, there's other people who have lost a parent, but the fact that people are still like when I've worked jobs on Mother's Day, and the people are like, why aren't you celebrating with your mother? And it's like, do I make things really uncomfortable and just tell you, oh, she's dead? Like,
oh God.
Like, but they're always there.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna put this on silent because okay.
So, but you sent me a link to a song. How has, like, being a creative person been changed or affected by losing your mom?
Well, my music's definitely got a lot darker. Because I remember, like, back, you know, before she passed away, I was, like, making, like really poppy electronic music, like Owl City. Like, people would say, like, I'm a huge blend of Blink-182 and Owl City because I was, like, guitar driven, but I had those poppy synths too. Yeah. But now, like, after she passed away, I started, like, making, like, really darker kind of tones, and then I started, like, dabbling with, like, dubstep and going into more dubstep kind of rhythm. And, well, okay, then someone broke into my house and stole my shit. And that all added a whole other bag to my already long list of baggage. Long lane of baggage, I guess. But it's like, I'm happy I have that output because I don't know how. Maybe I'd be writing more. But, I mean, the one thing I could thank my mom for was giving me a guitar and a drum set when I was a youngin'.
So your mom really, like, music, go for it, like, supported you and everything.
She was a huge supporter in my music because, like, I didn't grow up with piano, but near the end there I started playing piano, and she would, like, listen to it, and she was like, oh, I like this song. Oh, you're getting better. So, like, I cherish those times for sure. Well, okay. Well, how about you? Because I know you've been around for quite some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find that losing mom really just made me realize at a young age the importance of positivity and, like, bringing, like, talking. And so I really love entertaining, and I think it weirdly is because of the grief and loss I've had in life that's just, like, I've chosen not to go just be a hermit and not get close to anybody. I was like, I want to be with people and talk and interact. And so I think losing mom so young, and now and like I mentioned to you when we were chatting, like, I've lost all my grandparents to some form of cancer. Like, it's so prominent, and I used to not want to talk about this stuff at all. It was, like, pretty, like, let's not chat about losing mom, grief or anything like that. But then as I got older and was losing more people, and having friends go through it, I was like, oh no, let's talk about it. Let's because then you have someone like you who reach out and was like, hey, I've gone through this too. So I think that's a huge part of who I am now, which is weird to think about.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Wow. And like, I also lost my sister to cancer.
Yeah.
That was rough. And it's weird. Okay, it's weird to think because I don't think you and I would have met if my sister didn't pass away. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So, okay, when she passed, it was 2021, so it was only 3 years ago.
Yeah.
July, yeah, in a month it'll be 3 years ago. But I was like depressed. I was a wreck. And I know I was talking to my counselor at the time, and we were both talking about how like I really wanted to like learn something new and get into something that I haven't done I've done bartending in a while.
Yeah.
And Rising Tides was opening, and I was like, oh, okay, I need to work here.
Yeah.
Because I need something new, and this is something new.
Yeah.
However, I've done bartending before, so I think that was like my only sliver of like a chance to work there.
Yeah.
And this bartending experience was like 10 years ago, 10 plus years ago.
Yeah.
So I reached out to Allie.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, well, we'll go for an interview. And we ended up like talking for like a good hour and a half, and 2 hours. We were just like, yeah, we just connected. And she offered me a job, and I consider her more of a friend than a boss. So like, I don't work there anymore now. But if it wasn't for that depression, I wouldn't have worked at Rising Tides, and I wouldn't have met you.
Well, I'm happy that worked out then.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. It is those little things that just, all right, I need to do something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of how I cope now. Is like if I'm sad, I try and do something new or get out of my comfort zone. And Rising Tides has definitely helped me come out of my shell too.
Yeah. It's a great place and such a great community. And there's so many places like that in Calgary that I love because it's just a community. And I think that's super important. Like I have that at Born Brewing, like just my bosses I view them more as friends now. Like they're just great people and they care for you. And actually my boss Erin, she lost her dad a few years ago to cancer as well. Like, so it's just this weird.
Interesting.
It's a weird club you don't want to be a part of.
Yeah, no, it's for sure.
But when you are part of it, you find people and they know exactly what it's going through. I've got dear friends who have also lost their moms, and I know that I can like above other people who haven't lost a parent, I can like text them about just like today's not a good day for me, or like it's my mom's birthday or it's Mother's Day, and they know exactly what's going on, which is it's nice to have that sense. I wanted to touch on something you mentioned, that your mom was a nurse. Like, so again, cancer, your mom being like, she's smart, she knows like diseases and everything like that, and it's still got someone like that. So I think this is a great reminder of like early detection. My mom was 35 when she was diagnosed with cancer.
35, and yet, you know what? I keep hearing about stories of more and more young people, like 35 years old, and like even in their 40s too. And it's like, can we please start screening that young? Yeah. Because I have issues that I want to get checked out, but my doctors are all like, well, it doesn't work like that. We need to like get you on like this regimen where, you know, you gotta do something different to. I'm just like, oh, sorry. No, I'm just kind of like thinking of, he's basically just saying like, it doesn't work the way I think it is, and I think it should. Yeah. Yeah, he's just basically saying, okay, well, take this and then let me know how you feel. And I don't like that. No, and I think I've heard so many stories too of people who like obviously there's
patients that they have that are like hypochondriacs, and it's like, okay, no, this is, but like, I think people need to trust their bodies. So like, to a doctor, you need to be like, hey, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I trust my body too, and like, I feel like there's something wrong, but like at the same time, he's also been in the business for like, well, 40 years or
Yeah.
something, or 30 years. And it's like, well, okay, well, there's no serious symptoms yet, but like, will there be a day?
Yeah.
I don't know. But like, I don't know. I try and stay healthy. I run and
Yeah.
I meditate. I try and meditate. It's hard.
I've tried to meditate.
Yeah.
I wish I could be good at it, but
I wish too. And it's like I see people meditate and they just look like they're good at it. And I just would sit there in my mind fidgeting as well, physically just fidgeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, okay, I write too and, make music. So, I mean, like, I feel like I do what I can to keep myself happy.
Yeah.
And keep myself healthy.
Yeah, and that's so important. It's those little things, because as you said at like the top, like there's so many things we know that causes cancer. So like
literally, maybe even the clothes that we're wearing.
Oh, I know, right? Like it's getting crazy. I'm like, I don't know, like
yeah,
like, can I read this book? Will this
yeah, exactly, right.
Yeah, and then of course, like, we have these cell phones in our pockets, and it's like, what's happening here?
Yeah, not even the things to make the cell phone will cause cancer, but the things that make it work will cause cancer. Yeah.
So, what do you do to keep your mom's spirit alive?
In my car, I have an eagle feather. It was, I don't know who has given it to her, but she didn't give it to me, but she gave me her vehicle when she passed away, and the eagle feather was in her vehicle. Every single vehicle she had this eagle feather. So I keep that with me. So every time I go on like a road trip, she's there with me.
Yeah.
And I dream about her too. And I smoke a lot of weed, so I don't have that many dreams. But like when I do dream, sometimes I dream about her. So that I feel like is keeping her spirit alive. My brother almost died the other month, and all I could do was think about her. Not by cancer, by the way. But I put that in there because he was my brother.
Yeah.
It hit him pretty hard. And I think it hit all of us differently. I'm a twin as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it hit everybody differently.
Yeah, it's something, again, I have 4 siblings, and all 5 of us, I think, I mean, we ranged in age. My youngest brother was 8 when she passed away, and then my oldest was 18. But,
wow.
But I think we all, that's the thing about grief. It doesn't hit people the same way. And even when they're siblings and you lose a parent or sibling or grandparent, whatever it may be, it's going to be different for all of us. Like, I don't think my journey with grief is the exact same as any of my siblings. And it's weird and interesting to think about that. Like,
you know what's wild to think about too? It's like our parents have had this whole other life before we were born.
yeah.
It's wild to me.
Yeah. Oh, I was going through family photos. Like, I was trying to like organize stuff for my dad the one day, and found all these old photo albums, and it was so weird to think about, and it made me question and think about it. My photos that, like, when we used to really print off photos, nobody really prints off photos anymore. But it was weird because there were these people that, like, they were my parents, like, best friends. Like, they're in all these photos together, they're on vacations together, at parties, they're hanging out all the time. I have no idea who they are. I've never met them. But they were this life before my parents, and it was just like a weird thing to think about.
Yeah, every time I go through the photos when I'm at our family ranch, Yeah, exactly. I see people that I don't recognize, and I see people that I do recognize, just younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the aesthetic too. It's like wow, the 70s.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, right?
Yeah.
I kind of wish I could go back just for like a day, experience the 70s. Like,
Oh goodness, Woodstock. I think I would go back a little further.
Oh, yeah.
Like experience like maybe 69.
that was a big year. There was a lot that happened that year. There
Oh,
was
yeah.
Woodstock. That was Man on the Moon.
Man on the Moon.
like-
yeah.
Isn't that crazy to think about? To be like, have been there and like watching on TV and seeing that first time it happened, and now like we've gone our whole lives of seeing like space, and I mean I haven't gone to space, but we've seen enough stuff of it. It's crazy to think what it was like for those people.
In the late 60s, early 70s, our family was like in like the horse racing industry.
Oh, yeah.
Industry.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, sports.
Yeah,
I don't
sports,
know. Yeah.
I guess. But our family has a history with horses, and they used to train horses.
Yeah.
So I bet like it was bumping in our family
yeah.
back in the early days. Yeah.
So, and you said you were from Regina.
Yeah.
So, what was it that brought you to Calgary?
Okay. Well, it was when my mom passed away. So I hate to say it, but when my mom passed away, I moved here. I just picked up and started over. I did something crazy. It was scary.
Yeah.
I moved back to Regina after a year, but then I moved back here after a year because I remember why I left.
Yeah.
Because Regina is home. Ever since my mom passed away, I've had this fragmented sense of home.
Yeah.
Because like home was something where I could always just go home to wherever my mom was,
Yeah.
and enjoy a hot meal and relax. But now every time I go to Regina, I feel like a tourist.
Yeah.
And it's funny I mentioned that because like when I was growing up, I was like, who would be a tourist in Regina? I became that tourist.
I mean, I'm sure there are tourists that go to Regina.
Okay, no shade to Regina, but Saskatoon's the better city if you're gonna tour.
I've only actually ever been to Saskatoon. I've never been to Regina, but I've been to Saskatoon, and I went. What time of year was it? It was lovely. Like, it was really nice and not what I expected, and like I was not expecting so much water as well.
Yeah, it has a river flowing through it, and Regina has a creek.
A little different.
Yeah, a little different. But it was like, I read a quote that it was like the Paris of the prairies. I'm like, oh, for sure. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start using that. I'm gonna do that for trivia night. I'm gonna ask that question.
You totally should. The Paris of the prairies.
See who knows it. I would be intrigued to see who knows it. That would be a fun one.
I would be too.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's great.
Okay, when my sister was dying, it was Saskatoon.
Yeah.
So that I spent a lot of time. I spent like 2 weeks in Saskatoon, and I saw a lot there, and I connected with that city that I never thought I would ever connect with.
Yeah.
I took like, because this was when COVID was made its ugly head
Yeah.
appear here. So we couldn't have too many people in the hospital. So
That must have been so tough.
I'd go visit my sister in the morning, and then I would just go out and explore Saskatoon in the afternoon. And I did a lot of walking. I think I did about like 40K worth of walking.
Wow.
And maybe 50K. Because like the river had a long pathway, like
Yeah.
Calgary had a long pathway going along it. And then of course on the other side it has a long pathway.
Yeah.
So I did that every day, and it just made me think of home and put a lot of things into perspective, for sure.
Was it sudden with your sister as well getting cancer?
Like way more sudden than my mom,
Yeah.
and she's younger than me, so
Wow.
it was like her mid-20s when it was breast cancer. And yeah, I think
And I think breast cancer, sorry to cut you off there, but I think breast cancer is one of those ones where you think like maybe 50s, 60s. But young people are getting it.
That's true. Yeah, young people, men too.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
People don't realize that men can get breast cancer. I'm like,
it's bad. It's a bad one too. Because it was like stage 3 when she got diagnosed.
Oh.
So it was like sudden, and she got the diagnosis in November of 2020, and then she passed away in July of 2021.
wow,
Yeah,
that's super short. Oh my goodness.
it was crazy. Yeah, I'll never forget that.
Do you think you were, having gone through with your mom, do you think you were kind of more prepared to deal with your sister having cancer, or was it more crushing because you're like, I've already done this, I've already gone through this, with a family member, I can't do this again?
It still caught me off guard.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, you know what? Yeah, the feelings definitely caught me off guard again, too. Because, like, I don't know, it's different with a sibling, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, way different.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Yeah. My dad also has cancer. It's different with him, too. I don't really know him, so it's of course it's gonna be different.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like hormones. When I started hormones, right around when my sister passed, I started hormones in 2018. So I feel like hormones probably sent my emotions on a roller coaster.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that'll probably do it.
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah.
And like, oh man, the depression, like, it was so hard to like do the things I loved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because it losing so many people so young, so close to you, cancer is just like, sometimes you do get to that point where you're like, well, what's the fucking point of all this? Like, why bother? Why try?
Yeah.
It can get you down that way, for sure. And people who haven't lost someone close to them or hasn't lost anybody, like, I know people who still have like their grandparents, and they're like, I'm like, how? They're supportive to an extent when they're like, well, okay, didn't Craig's mom die a long time ago? Like, why is he still bringing it up? Like, why is Mother's Day so hard for him? It's like, luckily you don't know what I'm going through, but like, it's shitty because you just, where's your compassion?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I'm trying to think about friends that have lost their parents, and I don't remember, because I know my friends were there for me when my mom passed away. Yeah, and I think, like, at the end of the day, friends are probably paramount, because your friends are your family too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially as we become adults, and like, those are the people that you're spending the most time with and you're seeing all the time, and having holidays together, parties, like, I try to see my siblings as much as I can, and my dad, but they're busy with their own, my siblings all are married with kids, and
Yeah.
so I don't get to see them all the time, but it's also like they're all in sports now, and so they're busy on Saturdays, and like Saturday afternoons, it's like, well, I'm gonna go see my friends who are also single and can go to like a brewery or go to the park or go see a movie. Like, it's just, those are the people you spend a lot of time with.
I read that there was like someone trying to make not a Mother's Day thing, or yeah, she was like trying to make a holiday for the people that lost their mothers. Yeah, but I can't remember what it was called. I just read about it. I was like, I mean, okay, I don't think I need a holiday for that.
No,
but
no. I spent Mother's Day with a couple very good friends of mine who have also lost their mother. So we have a day together where we can, do whatever, but just like it may sometimes end up in crying.
Oh yeah,
because
sometimes that's all you need is like a bottle of wine and a good cry.
exactly, and that's just it. And but we can, and sometimes we're making like weird jokes, but it's something that only like the three of us get and understand, and we can be there together and have either a fun day or it's going to turn to tears, but we're just like whatever happens, and it's nice to have that.
Okay. I have a really fun question for you.
Okay.
Media. So like, whenever you see, how do you feel whenever you see like parents in movies, and how it's like the movie has this very strong connection with the mom? How do you feel about those? Because like, it's a tough one there too.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny with movies or TV shows. Sometimes I'll be really good, and then there'll be something that I don't know if I had just like thought about my mom, or it's like around her birthday or the anniversary of when she passed away. But I will just get so emotional, and I will just like lose it, and I'm like, why am like, where did this come from? But it's usually because I was recently thinking of my mom, and then I lose it.
Oh man, totally. Okay, there's this one video game. I can't remember. It's very recent. It's like a Marvel video game where you have to like. There's this scene in the video game where you have to like kill your mom in order to save the planet, but it's not really your mom because she already died.
Yeah.
But it's like they put you in the shoes of killing your mom to save your planet. How the hell can someone like...
No.
Yeah, I would bawl my eyes out if I was playing that and they made me do that.
Well, and they'll come out of like nowhere. I remember, speaking of Marvel, like going to see that first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and it starts off with a young, like Chris Pratt's character, Peter, who is at the hospital visiting his mom who's dying of cancer. She's in the bed, like it's the end, and the family's all around it. So, at that point, I don't know how many Marvel movies had been out, but this was the first of the Guardians, and I've enjoyed the Marvel movies. They're great. Just go see it with my friend Alana, and this is the opening scene, and I was just like, start crying. She's like, I had no idea it started this way. I'm so sorry. Like, and it just, those random moments too, where I'm going to see Marvel movie, and then all of a sudden, oh no, it's like gonna start off with a little boy saying goodbye to his dying mother. It was like, what are you doing to me?
Yeah. Oh, that's wild.
It's real fun.
That's yeah. But I mean, like, I don't know. It puts you in that cycle where you think about it again, and then you have to process everything again.
Yep.
So it's like, sometimes I wonder if my trauma's really truly processed.
It's can come in waves, and like there are so many times I know what you're saying, that like I assumed I had done all 5 stages of grief and like got it out of my system, and then all of a sudden something will happen, and I'll just be here watching something or listening to something, and I'll just start crying and going like, this is not fair, like just missing mom and just wanted to chat with her, hug her, hear her voice. Like, it's those little things that you take for granted, like.
Oh yeah, oh for sure. And it's like, and then like, because it's been so long, you've had so long to think about all the things you could have said. Yeah. And like all that comes flooding into your mind. Yeah. Yeah,
it's like just the conversations again, just like, what would mom think of all this? What would she like? What movies that have come out in the past 10 years would she have loved? And like,
oh, you know what? She loved Mamma Mia.
Oh, I love Mamma Mia.
And a couple summers ago, I think it was like 2 years ago now. Alex from Rising Tides, they had a little backyard party, and they put on Mamma Mia. And so I sat there the whole time thinking about her, and like, she would have loved this. Yeah. So I think about I think about I'm trying to think about some things in a positive light. Like if she was still alive, I definitely would have wanted her to be with me, with everyone watching Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
As cheesy as it sounds, but I feel like she could have been there with me.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, she was there with me.
She was. She was there. Yeah. And that's what I tried to do too. Like, and my siblings and I will joke about like different famous people or songs and like what mom would think of this, and like we'd laugh and joke, like, and those are kind of what helps me when I am feeling like down. It's like, okay, well, like, let's think about this, like what, and just start laughing and thinking about, or putting on something that will. Sometimes I just need to cry.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it feels good to cry.
It does.
I don't cry a lot. But like, I mentioned earlier when my brother almost passed away, the other month. It was like end of March. He had a fentanyl overdose. I don't think he knew he was, doing fentanyl, but it happened, and he almost died. He did die.
Yeah.
But they Narcaned him. Someone found him. They Narcaned him. They gave him CPR. So he was like really messed up, and I just hopped in my car, drove to Regina, and I bawled my eyes out all the way there. And I've never done that for anyone, not my sister, not my mom. And I just cried, and it was so cathartic.
It is so cathartic. I hate that as adults sometimes we're like not supposed to cry, or like, I mean, there's still the whole like,
we're supposed to look like we got our shit together.
Yeah. and that doesn't help anybody.
Yeah.
Because it causes more problems if you put on this act and facade that you have your shit together, and other people go like, well, look at Craig and Skye, they've got their shit together, so I can't like be down about whatever it may be, and so then they can't do anything, and then it's just this like vicious cycle. And no, just fucking cry.
Yeah.
Let it out. We don't have our shit together.
And it's like sometimes I want to cry in like the most stupidest places too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah. Oh, life.
I want to cry right now, but no, it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
It's that meme where it's like, this is fine.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about life right now.
Yeah.
About not even just me, just everything.
The world is so crazy and ass backwards, and like, there's so much going on, but sometimes it's still just good to like, it's good to important to just chat about this stuff. So I was so thankful that you reached out to me, because I just like want to have these conversations more, and I think that helps everybody.
Oh, for sure. I don't remember when I had the last time I had a conversation like this, to be honest.
But,
or at all.
Yeah. And we feel like we can't chat with like friends about this stuff sometimes.
Well, I mean, I can't. I mean, I have a counselor that I talk to.
That's awesome.
That's about it. But it's like, we can't talk to our friends about this. We should.
Yeah.
We should talk to our friends about this kind of thing.
We should, because especially, like anytime I have a friend who they post that they lost mom or dad to whatever it may be, I'm always reach out to them right away, and I say, hey, like, you don't have to respond right away, but know that I'm here if you want to chat. I get it. If you want to chat or you don't, you just want to cry, or you want to laugh, you want to get high, you want to go have some drinks, you want to go see a movie, whatever.
Do you get high? Do you smoke weed?
I do.
Okay. That's what we should have done. We should have go smoke some weed. Yeah.
It helps. It mellows. I love me some gummies. I'm also finding some drinks that are delicious, some of the cannabis drinks that the first time I ever tried them, they were like not good, but then I found ones that like, there's a cream soda that tastes just like cream soda.
Really?
It's
interesting.
so
I have
good.
not tried them.
But like, it gets me real high because like it tastes like pop, and I'm just like downing this delicious pop, and all of a sudden it's like, why has this hit me so fast? But like that's probably why.
It's funny because like I've been trying to like experiment with like microdosing psilocybin, but for my birthday this year we did more than a microdose. But it was like we were having so much fun, but we were yawning the entire time. And that's what weed does to me too. When I go to raves or when I'm at like my gigs DJing, like oftentimes I'll smoke a joint before performing. And it's just like I have to, just because it's like it gets me in the groove, and it's what I do even at home. But at the entire time, I look like I have resting bitch face. And it looks like I'm ready to like pass out at any given time. Even when I'm at a rave, I'll just be like, I'll be looking at the visuals and vibing to the music, but it looks like I'm about to pass out. But I'm having a good time.
Yeah. Good. How long have you been DJing for?
Mid 2000s.
Wow.
So, okay, mid 2000s. But then when someone broke into my house, like in 2013, I stopped. I stopped DJing. I stopped producing music. I thought I was never going to make music again, to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much that hit me, but it hit me. And then it was like 2016, 2017, I got another computer. So I started, and I don't know if you knew this, but music is a perishable skill depending on what age you start at.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
If you want to be a master, you got to start when you're young. Like 5, 6, 7, 8. That's when I started guitar. So I'm okay on the guitar, but I started piano when I was 18. So I had to relearn piano after so long of not playing it.
Yeah.
And so I started producing again. I didn't start DJing until I started working at Rising Tides again, just because like I was finally in a place where I wanted to start performing again and not just producing in my bedroom.
Yeah.
So I have like an album like of 9 or 10 songs that I'm going to be releasing probably next year.
Oh.
But this summer I'm going to start releasing some of it. I'm at a place where I can start.
Yeah.
And like some of the songs that I've been working on have been like 2017.
Wow.
And I don't know any musician that has had songs on their hard drive. Well, I'm sure there are out there.
Yeah.
But like, if you're a musician, won't you just want to like get something out as fast as possible? Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And then it's like, after so long of not producing, and I was also doing a lot of drugs too. That I'm sure that didn't help.
Probably not.
I spent so long relearning everything, and even like the more intricate details of music production, mixing and mastering. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's like putting a polish on your music.
Yeah.
And back 20 years ago when I was doing mashups and just starting to learn how to do it, I would just throw a limiter on, do some light EQing. But now everything's so loud and dynamic. So I had to learn how to do that to keep up with today's sound.
Yeah.
And that was hard. So
I'm always so impressive with anybody who's got any type of music skills. I think it's so impressive. And also like, the sound is always changing in the world. Like, there's different. So like, you have to be on top of that. It's crazy. But then sometimes things come back, which is nice.
Yeah. Okay. So what made you want to, I remember you mentioning you were in radio.
Yeah.
What made you want to get into that?
I just, like I said, I love chatting with people and entertaining people. And I really enjoyed taking radio broadcasting at SAIT. Had a blast, and I learned so many great skills with it. And I didn't go into radio afterwards because I was like, there's something more I can do with this. Eventually turning to podcasting, but like hosting trivia, doing all these things that I learned skills wise. But because radio can be really shitty, you have to start off in like the middle of nowhere and
Fort McMurray.
Yeah, and earn like a box of Kraft Dinner. Like,
Oh my God.
there's like, until you get to these bigger markets, but even then, like, and then it's like crazy. Like, I've several friends, the radio stations are making cuts all the time. Like,
Here.
it's getting crazy out there. Like, they're going away from having actual people, and that was the other problem too, is that you don't get to necessarily chat about anything you want on the radio. It's usually like staged and forced, and like, okay, well, we got this concert coming up this weekend in Calgary, so we got to chat about this, and like, so I don't know.
I noticed they scour Reddit, like
Yes.
the Calgary subreddit.
Yeah.
It's like they'll talk about something and they'll be like, "Oh, I saw that on Reddit a couple hours ago."
Yeah.
But you're right. I've noticed like a shift, like especially in the last like 10 years.
Yeah.
I also wanted to go into radio.
Oh,
I
really?
actually moved to Calgary just to go take radio. We could have been.
Oh my
We would
goodness.
have been like fellow students, but I
Yeah.
actually, as it turned out, I had to like upgrade my courses. And then when I had my stuff stolen, I'm like, you know what? I don't care about anymore.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I didn't go into radio. So I was a delivery driver for so long, too long. I'm not anymore,
Yeah.
but I still work in the transportation industry. And then I upgraded my English to get to our university level.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to do journalism. That's because, yeah, like I thought too, what can I do more than just radio broadcast news? Journalism.
Yeah.
So I upgraded my English to university level, and that was hard, but it was worth it.
Yeah.
But I didn't go to university either. I don't know why, and I tell this story like a million times because I earned the credit in like 2018, and that's when I started hormones. But then I got the job that I have now,
Yeah.
and the money's good, so it's safe.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Now I'm reading like the landscape of journalism is changing too.
Yeah.
So it's like, do I even want to go to journalism anymore if I'm just going to be coming back here
Yeah.
after I'm finished?
It's it's very interesting right now with radio and journalism, like,
Yeah.
and then even just like the fact that like you can't even post some things on social media, like direct links to journalism, like news stories. 'Cause,
On my Meta?
yeah,
No, that's right.
it's so weird. Ugh, what a weird little world.
But I mean, I too want to do podcasting.
Yeah.
That's kind of like ultimately what I wanted to do after journalism was like start a podcast, start a music podcast.
Well,
And
take
just-
it from me, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's just nice to just chat with people. Like I said, it's just having conversation, and being engaging, hopefully, and people listen. And there's different episodes that people listen to of mine that I get more feedback on, and it all depends on the topic too. Like with this, like there's gonna be some people who maybe really connect with this episode, and then they may not listen to any of the other ones, or they like, oh, well, okay, well, that was like too serious for me. I'm just going to go listen to this one where it's just a fun comedic episode, or talking about movies, whatever it may be. So the world is your oyster, as the old saying goes.
Yeah, I think that'll be a passion project at a later time. Because right now, I need to release music.
Yeah.
So that's like paramount when it comes to the creative stuff that I'm doing.
Well, I look forward to having this out in the world of your music. I'm very much looking forward to that. As we start to wrap up, I always like to ask my guests, what's awesome? Tell me something that's awesome. It could be a food, movie, a person, a place.
Nature. Nature's awesome.
Nature is awesome. Do you have a place in Calgary that you really like going nature-wise?
I really connected with Confederation Park.
Oh, yeah.
For the longest time, that's where I would run my 5Ks.
Oh.
And that's, yeah. And it was like, I remember the mornings. The mornings were my favorite because it was empty.
Yeah.
Don't go in the afternoon if you're going to run there because everybody's there. Everybody and their aunt are there. Yeah, and it was such a nice place to just run. And then like right around this time in June,
Yeah.
the morning light coming through the trees, it's like, what a time to be alive. I gotta, because I'm up all night. I should do that. I really should.
Okay, nature, awesome. Are you nature year round or more this time of year when it's actually like you can be outside and not
I'm
have
nature,
your face frozen?
I don't mind the cold.
Yeah.
But if we're choosing, it's probably springtime going into summer is when I like it the most. Even fall can annoy me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I have a question for you.
Okay.
And this is what I want to talk about on my podcast. Maybe. Okay, what's on your Pride playlist?
Ooh, Pride playlist. Ooh, that's a good question. I adore and I love that I feel like they're keep getting bigger and bigger, and thanks to the TV show, I love Tegan and Sarah.
Tegan and Sarah, wow. Of course.
I'm a sucker for classic. I love Elton John. Just his music, his whole discography is so vast, and there's so many great, fun, sad, just I think that, and then I'm trying to think what else. Those are always like the top for sure. I'm such a sucker for those. What's on your?
Everybody's free to feel good. That one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Everybody's Free, but I can't remember who sings it or who does it.
Yeah.
That one's probably like a must.
Yeah, I think I'm excited to see everybody's Pride playlist. I think there's gonna be some good ones. And it's fantastic just how many more like queer musicians openly out there now, and then also just great allies, and just there's super fun ones like Kylie Minogue, like
Yeah. Oh, Kylie Minogue. Wow, yeah. She did one that was really spicy recently that I really liked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that the name escapes me,
Yeah.
but
There's so many great ones.
okay, I really like Kim Petras.
Oh yes.
She's a trans superstar.
Yeah.
And
she's crushing it.
she's crushing it, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some good ones out there.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think both of us need to create a little like playlist and put it on our Instagram to let people know some things. I'm excited. Just before Calgary Pride kicks off in August, like end of August, there I'm hosting a queer icon drag bingo with the wonderful Kevin, aka Anxiety. I love Anxiety. So they're gonna do some performances to some queer icons, and we're gonna do like bingo. It's gonna be super fun. So send me your playlist because I need that for.
All right.
Yeah.
So I listen to a lot of dance music. A lot of really bubbly dance music on my Pride playlist.
That's what you should do. It's fun. It's Pride. We're gonna be excited.
Speaking of Pride, I might be performing again this year.
Oh.
As Sunflower Dreams, my DJ name. So, yeah, I'm hoping. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Okay. Fingers crossed. Keeping it out there.
Yeah.
I'll post all about it if you get to, because that's fantastic. Well, I appreciate you coming over today and having this long, nice conversation, for being vulnerable, putting yourself out there. I really do appreciate it. Like I said, I think we need more conversations like this to just showcase that we're all going through this shit.
And like, if anyone's out there, you're not alone.
You're not
alone.
No.
Yeah.
And as I say to everybody, mention on here, like, grief is not linear. It can come in waves. You're gonna have Mother's Days or Father's Day, if that's apparent, that you're really good, and you're like, oh, this is fantastic, I feel good, and then the next year you're like, you wake up and instantly like just don't want to leave bed, and you're sad. It just comes in waves, and it may not even be Mother's Day or their birthday, or it might be your birthday. It could be anything. But you're not alone, and find friends, people to chat with whenever you can.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Skye, so much for being here today.
Thank you. Hi.
And thank you all for passing time with me. We'll chat soon. Bye.